On the afternoon of September 30th, a two-story mini supermarket in Beihai, Guangxi collapsed. Images from the scene show that a building facing the street suddenly turned into ruins, with some individuals trapped under the debris. The incident resulted in 4 injuries, with 2 people seriously hurt and 2 sustaining minor injuries. The cause of the accident is currently under investigation. On September 21st, 2023, a massive sinkhole formed in the road leading up to Tunnel 60 in Beijing. Although there were no reported casualties, the sheer size of the hole was a blatant indicator of shoddy construction. On September 18th, a section of the Foshan Ring Road caved in, swallowing a small car. Casualties remain unknown. Under the governance of the Chinese Communist Party, mainland China has witnessed recurring incidents of road, bridge, and building collapses, leading to countless tragedies. Many of these constructions suffered from cost-cutting during the building process, lax oversight, and poor safety inspections, resulting in subpar engineering. These buildings are often referred to as Tofu-Dreg projects, referring to their tendency to crumble. Such blatant disregard for human safety in pursuit of personal gains is sadly one of the notorious features of China's current landscape. This segment will recount some recent collapse incidents in China and delve into the underlying reasons. Sichuan Highway Bridge Collapse. On July 6, 2023, a portion of the Enguang Expressway in Sichuan unexpectedly fractured without warning, resulting in 2 vehicles falling into a deep gap and subsequently catching fire. Fortunately, all 3 passengers were swiftly rescued without any life-threatening injuries. Videos of the terrifying moment went viral. The footage showed a sedan and a van plunging into the chasm, with both vehicles igniting upon impact, leaving behind only charred remains. An official from the Sichuan Transportation Department attributed the collapse to a landslide caused by rain, asserting this was a natural disaster and had nothing to do with the quality of the construction. Many netizens expressed skepticism, pointing out that there were no visible boulders from the alleged landslide in the footage. They questioned, how can a mere rain cause a modern highway to collapse if not due to poor construction quality? Sarcastically remarking, a project for a century, yet it barely lasted a few years. Observant users noted the bridge's apparent lack of sufficient reinforcement and thin pillars, suggesting that corners were cut during construction. Ironically, the bridge had previously received awards such as the Sichuan Construction Project Gold Award and the National High Quality Engineering Award. Comments flooded in, with one user noting, "In China, there's no construction project that doesn't cut corners, and no supervisor who doesn't take bribes." Another mocked, after thorough verification by experts and joint investigation teams, it was confirmed that 2 cars were overloaded, surpassing the bridge's design capacity. Hamu Expressway Collapse. On August 3, 2023, amid heavy rainfall, a section of the Hamu Expressway in Heilongjiang collapsed. Dashcam footage showed the horrifying moment as a white car, unaware of the impending danger, plunged into the abyss. Video from the scene showed 2 cars submerged, a black one almost entirely and a white one halfway. It was noted that the bridge wasn't under the stress of heavy vehicles, ruling out the possibility of overload. Blaming the rain seems untenable when century-old bridges elsewhere stand firm. Clearly, there were flaws in the bridge's construction. Bridge collapse in Baoding. On the evening of July 30th, 2023, netizens posted videos alleging the collapse of the Liyue Central Bridge in Baoding, Hebei Province, amid a heavy downpour. 2 vehicles were reported to have plunged into the resulting void. Someone in the video says, "The bridge in Liyue collapsed. 2 cars have fallen. No way to cross now." One car appeared to be dangling from the collapsed section, while another was completely submerged in water. According to mainland media reports, one driver was rescued without life-threatening injuries, but the whereabouts of the other remained unknown. The collapse of a bridge due to heavy rain unmistakably points to inferior construction. A road collapses in front of a residential community in Shenzhen. On August 18, 2023, in the Longhua district of Shenzhen, Guangdong province, a violent downpour led to a road collapse in front of the Sanhe Overseas Chinese village. The collapse stretched about 15 meters long, 7 meters wide, and was approximately 4 meters deep. A parked vehicle also tumbled into the chasm. Residents from 3 buildings were evacuated. One resident exclaimed, "The security guard told me to come down and not to sleep in the house. I'm afraid the nearby buildings might collapse. I've been wandering outside, too scared to return home." The local government has yet to release a report on the incident. Without a doubt, such a significant collapse would not have occurred without construction defects. Falsified safety inspections. On April 29, 2022, a residential building self-constructed by its residents collapsed in Changsha, Hunan province. A thick cloud of dust arose from the scene, with debris reaching the height of 2 stories, resulting in 54 fatalities. Local business owners reported that the original 6-story building had been expanded to 8 floors by residents in 2018. These floors housed restaurants, hotels, and residential units. Multiple warning signs had been observed prior to the collapse, with the owner ignoring the increasingly severe deformation of the building's supports. Complaints from residents went unanswered, echoing the sentiment that no one cares unless something happens. On April 12, 2022, in compliance with local police regulations for continued operation, a hotel operator in the building commissioned Hunan Xiangda Engineering Testing Co. for a safety assessment. 2 company representatives visited the site. One collected payment downstairs, while the other took photos upstairs. Within 8 hours, they completed the so-called on-site inspection for 31 units. The passing report, formed through copy-pasting, fabricating data, and forging signatures, asserted that the hotel structure was sound. This flagrantly fraudulent company managed to secure legal qualifications in China due to corruption involving reviewers and experts. Following an investigation, it was revealed that all 79 assessment reports issued by Hunan Xiangda Engineering Testing since its inception were falsified. The repercussions were that 54 lives were lost. Highway intersection collapse. On December 18, 2021, a section of the bridge where the Shanghai-Chongqing and Daqing-Guangzhou highways intersect tipped over onto the highway below. This resulted in the loss of 4 lives, 8 injuries, and numerous vehicles thrown off the roadway. Some cars were crushed under the toppled bridge, and several large trucks lay overturned. Eyewitnesses described seeing numerous vehicles on the bridge when it suddenly tilted. One observer, fearing further collapse, stopped and watched the unfolding events, only to see the roadway quickly tip over. This collapse occurred without the influence of heavy rainfall. How could a highway bridge collapse so suddenly? According to online users' analysis, the overpass being a single-column structure combined with overloaded trucks passing over it was a key factor in the bridge's collapse. Roof collapse in Harbin office building. On August 8, 2021, in the Xiangfang district of Harbin, Heilongjiang province, the top floor of a 7-story office building collapsed, trapping 11 people. 7 of these individuals sustained injuries, while the other 4 lost their lives. Photos taken by local residents at the scene revealed that the ceiling of the building's 7th floor had fallen inside, and all 3 window frames on the same side were missing, exposing indoor radiators to the outside. Survivor Miss Zhang recounted the terrifying moment, stating, "There was a loud boom, and when I looked up, the ceiling was caving in, sending clouds of dust into the air." Online comments raised concerns about the building's construction quality, with one user noting, "This is terrifying. If the collapse wasn't due to unauthorized modifications, could it be that the building was shoddily constructed from the outset?" The Four Seasons Kaiyuan Hotel. On July 12, 2021, an auxiliary building collapsed at the Four Seasons Kaiyuan Hotel in Suzhou, Jiangsu Province, resulting in 17 fatalities. The hotel had been in operation for only 3 years following its renovation. Nearby resident Wang Jianjun described witnessing the hotel structure tilting and then collapsing with a thunderous crash, producing a huge cloud of dust. The entire incident took place in roughly 10 seconds. Initially, he thought an earthquake had struck. He then observed people escaping from the enveloping dust, with cries for help and others calling the police. A spokesperson from the Emergency Management Department stated that the collapse occurred because construction workers had removed all the weight-bearing horizontal walls and the majority of the inner vertical walls on the ground floor, without any reinforcement or safety measures. The investigative team from the Jiangsu provincial government found that the hotel had undergone illegal renovations without proper permits. Collusion and corruption between the hotel's management and local authorities were identified as contributing factors. Road collapse in Shian creates large pit. On May 13, 2021, near the Yuejiazhai station of Xi'an's Metro Line 5, a road suddenly caved in, forming a pit approximately 8 meters in diameter and 5 meters deep. A woman riding her electric scooter fell into the pit and was immediately buried by the soil. Despite rescue efforts, she lost her life. The collapsed area was roughly 60 square meters, shaped like a semicircle. The public questioned why such a substantial pit would appear on a seemingly stable road, especially when there had been no rain. The authorities did not provide an investigative report. Online comments highlighted concerns about the quality of the road, with one user remarking, "This is absurd, shoddy road construction." Another commented, "In this astonishing nation, anything, no matter how unlikely, can happen." A bridge construction collapses just before completion. On May 8, 2021, a nearly completed bridge on the Hangzhou-Shaoxing-Taizhou Expressway in Zhejiang Province collapsed. Footage from the scene depicted debris from the fallen structure submerged in the river, with a crane also crushed beneath the rubble. It's worth noting that this bridge was part of the most significant coastal highway project in the region, scheduled for final inspection at the end of June. Netizens who viewed the video expressed their shock and said they felt chills down their spine. How can a bridge so close to completion suddenly collapse? Imagine the catastrophe if it had already been open for traffic, they remarked. Collapse of Jian restaurant. On August 29, 2020, the collapse of a 2-story restaurant in Linfen City, Shanxi Province, resulted in 29 fatalities and 7 serious injuries. During the time of the incident, an elderly man was celebrating his 80th birthday with a banquet at the restaurant, mostly attended by relatives and fellow villagers. What should have been a joyous occasion turned into a village-wide tragedy. The banquet hall where the collapse occurred was the village's only large-scale facility. Spanning about 100 square meters and accommodating up to 100 guests, it had a degree of local renown. However, the ceiling wasn't made of reinforced concrete, but rather from prefabricated panels constructed across a yard between 2 houses. On top of these panels, an additional steel tile roof was built for storage. Investigations revealed that the Jian restaurant operators had consistently violated land regulations, making unauthorized expansions 8 times and illegally using self-built farmhouses for business. Despite being a major business menu, all constructions were undertaken without professional design, supervision, or any related documentation. Such blatant violations were astonishingly unchecked by local to county-level authorities, indicating a systemic failure in regulation. The only plausible explanation is collusion and corruption between local officials and the restaurant owner. Collapse of a food warehouse in Harbin. On August 4, 2020, the collapse of a warehouse belonging to a food company in Harbin, Heilongjiang province, resulted in the tragic death of all 9 trapped individuals. Insiders revealed that the original warehouse, built in the 1970s, was a 2-story structure. In 2017, 2 more stories were added. Previously, a glass company had rented the warehouse. They moved out in June 2020, having identified signs of structural issues in the prefabricated panels. The head of the glass company commented, "I knew it was going to collapse. I was so scared, I hurriedly moved out." Such a hazardous building clearly violated safety regulations. It was evident that its collapse was just a matter of time. The very fact that such a perilous structure could be built and operated suggests a tangled web of corruption and bribery. Collapse of Shinja Express Hotel. On March 7, 2020, the Shinja Express Hotel in Quanzhou City, Fujian Province, suffered a devastating collapse, leading to the tragic loss of 29 lives and injuring 50 others. Remarkably, the hotel had only been operational for a little over a year and was being used as a centralized quarantine facility for COVID-19 patients at the time of the incident. Aerial shots of the scene depict the hotel broken in half, with its upper portion leaning downwards and its exterior shattered into blocks. Eyewitnesses at the scene recalled hearing a deafening explosion, followed by the hotel completely collapsing in merely 3 seconds. Mr. Wong, a survivor of the tragedy, recounted that he was about to eat an orange when there was a sudden muffled sound. The floor shook violently, and he was thrown into the air before crashing down. In an instant, dust filled his mouth and nose. Tragically, his father and younger brother were among the deceased. The State Council's investigation team identified the primary cause of the collapse as illegal construction and unauthorized modifications. The Shinja Hotel, originally designed as a 4-story building, had been modified into a 7-story structure, exceeding its structural load-bearing capacity. As the investigation progressed, startling truths emerged. Essential documents such as the hotel's Fire Safety Inspection Certificate, Special Trade License, Design Specification, and Construction Completion Report, among others, were found to be counterfeit. Indeed, corruption was rife at every stage of the Shinja Hotel's existence, from land approval, construction, and operation to its selection as a quarantine site. Yang Jinqiao, the hotel's owner, admitted that from the day construction began, it was an illegally constructed building that should never have existed. The entrenched collusion between officials and business owners under the CCP system and the widespread corruption that has ensued is profoundly alarming. CCP-affiliated media admitted that several party officials and public servants did not genuinely prioritize the safety and well-being of the public. Instead, they prioritized formalities and superficial gestures, neglecting their duties and responsibilities. Their complacency allowed the Shinja Hotel to undergo illegal construction, modifications, renovations, and reinforcement for an extended period, culminating in the catastrophic incident. A deputy secretary of the Discipline Inspection Commission in Fujian Province spoke candidly, expressing his astonishment at how the entire hierarchy of the Public Security Bureau in Licheng District, from clerks to specialized officers, and all the way up to the deputy chiefs, had collectively failed in their duties. Everyone was simply going through the motions without actually addressing the glaring issues. This is the grim reality in today's China, he said. The cases highlighted in this episode represent only a fraction of the numerous structural collapses that have occurred in mainland China over the past 3 years. Upon closer inspection, not one of these incidents was a natural disaster. They were all preventable tragedies. For years, a series of bridge and highway collapses have plagued China. There are incidents of structures collapsing after several years of use, others collapsing within a year, like the Yangmiantan Bridge in Harbin, and some even collapsed the very next day after being inaugurated, as witnessed was the new third highway in Yunnan. There were also the cases like the Jiujiang Bridge, which was hit and collapsed by a ship, and the Zilong Bridge in Zhengding, Shijiazhuang, where a 400-meter guardrail was knocked down by wind. All these incidents highlight China's infamous Tofu-Dreg infrastructure. Why do superficial inspections and man-made disasters persist in China? The primary reason lies in the deep-seated corruption under the Chinese Communist Party's rule. By leveraging connections and offering bribes, almost any undertaking can be approved. Elites and power holders show blatant disregard for the well-being of the general public, leading to the proliferation of shoddy construction projects. Moreover, counterfeiting has become so pervasive in Chinese society that even the raw materials for many constructions are adulterated, resulting in substandard infrastructure. Ultimately, the widespread corruption from top to bottom, symptomatic of the CCP's governance, has become incurable. Superficial changes might be possible, but it is challenging to change the heart of the system. Unless there is a genuine reform in China's political structure and a moral reconstruction amongst its citizens, the culture of corruption will remain unchecked, and China's Tofu-Dreg constructions will continue to threaten lives.